Part 1. OP's voice, casual, detailed, confessional, Reddit style. Guys, I don't even know how to start this. I'm shaking as I type, and if my husband ever found this post, I think my whole life would explode. But I can't keep this inside anymore. I feel like I'm living in some kind of twisted soap opera, and the messed up part is that none of my friends would believe me unless I had receipts. And oh boy, do I have receipts. So, quick background. I, 28F, have been married to my husband, 31M, for almost 4 years. Together for 6. Honestly, I thought we had one of those stable, boring but happy relationships. We argue sometimes about dishes or whose turn it is to take the dog out in the rain, but nothing major. He's charming, funny, has this way of calming me down when I spiral, which happens often. We've been through job losses, family drama, and moving to a new city. He was my anchor. My safe place. Or, at least I thought so. Here's where things start to get weird. From the very beginning, he's always been close with his sister. Let's call her Lily. I'd heard about Lily before I ever met her. Supposedly, she was a half-sister from his dad's side. They didn't grow up in the same house, but reconnected in their 20s. When we first started dating, he said, "Oh, I'm really glad you'll meet Lily. She's one of the most important people in my life." Sweet, right? I thought it was adorable that he cared so much about his family. Except, I never actually met her. Not once. Over the years, she's been this ghost in our relationship. He'd text her a lot, sometimes late at night. He'd take calls outside, saying it was just Lily. I'd ask, "When am I going to meet her?" And he'd always say, "She's super private," or "She lives far away, but one day soon." I didn't push too hard because, hey, not everyone is a social butterfly, and I didn't want to come off as a jealous, clingy wife. Fast forward to last month. I'm on the couch, binge-watching trash TV with our dog snoring next to me, and my husband is in the shower. His phone buzzes on the table. Normally, I don't snoop, swear on my life. I've never been the type to go through his phone. But the notification preview popped up, and it just said, "Can't stop thinking about last night, Red Heart Lily." My stomach dropped. Like, I felt it physically, a punch straight to the gut. At first, I told myself maybe I misread it. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it was some weird sibling thing. Although who TF puts a heart emoji after, last night, when texting their brother, I stared at that notification until my hands were literally sweating. And then, like my body was moving on autopilot, I unlocked his phone. Yes, I know his passcode. He gave it to me ages ago. He never cared what I saw. Jesus. The chat thread with Lily was not what you'd expect between siblings. It wasn't even what you'd expect between friends. It was flirty. No, scratch that. It was straight up sexual. Messages about missing his body. Jokes about sneaking around. One text from him that said, "I hate lying to her, but I can't give you up." And her response? "You don't have to. She'll never find out." I swear, I almost threw up right there on the couch. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely scroll, but I kept going. There were photos. Not nudes, thank God, but selfies of her in bed, him replying with, "Wish I was there." And the worst part? This had been going on for years. The chat history went back at least 2 years. 2 years. My whole marriage timeline basically overlapped with whatever the hell this was. Now, here's the kicker. When I clicked on her contact info, the number wasn't saved under her real name. It just said, Lily Redheart. I copied the number, pasted it into Google, and guess what? Not his sister. Not even remotely. She's some woman who lives one city over, around our age. I found her Facebook. She's real, she exists, and she is very much not related to him. There are pictures of her at bars, at concerts, on trips. No family resemblance, no half-sibling connections. Just a completely random woman he's apparently been in a relationship with behind my back. My world tilted on its axis in that moment. Like, how do you even process that your husband has been carrying on a years-long affair, disguising it as some kind of sibling bond? Who does that? Who comes up with that cover story? I put his phone back exactly where it was, and sat there until he got out of the shower. He came out, towel around his waist, smiling like nothing was wrong. Kissed me on the forehead. Asked what I wanted for dinner. And I froze. I couldn't confront him. Not yet. I felt like if I did, I'd lose all control of the situation, and I wasn't ready. So I just smiled, said, "Pizza's fine," and acted normal. Inside, though, I was screaming. That night, I barely slept. My mind kept replaying those texts. Last night. I can't give you up. She'll never find out. Over and over like a broken record. The next morning, I called in sick to work and spent hours digging. I looked through more of his phone when he was in the shower again. He has a routine. Lucky for me. I found hotel receipts in his email. Calendar events labeled with fake work meetings. Even Uber rides to neighborhoods he had no reason to be in. Piece by piece, the puzzle came together, and it was uglier than I could have imagined. Here's the messed up part. A tiny, messed up corner of my brain still wanted to believe there was some explanation. Like maybe it was role play? A kink thing? Something less devastating than full-blown infidelity wrapped in lies about family. But deep down I knew. I knew. And now, I don't know what to do. Do I confront him? Do I collect more evidence? Do I reach out to Lily and blow this wide open? Part of me wants to smash his phone in front of him and scream every ugly word I know. Another part of me wants to stay quiet and plan my exit like a spy. Because if he's willing to lie about something this big, for this long, what else is he capable of? The scariest thought? I don't think he'd ever confess on his own. I think he'd keep lying until the end of time, smiling at me over dinner, telling me he loves me, while sneaking off to see her. And that thought makes my chest feel like it's caving in. I haven't told a soul in my real life. Not my mom, not my best friend, not even my therapist. You guys are the first people I've said this to. Because I need to get it out somewhere before it eats me alive. I keep imagining what will happen when I finally confront him, and every version of that conversation feels like it will break my whole world in half. So here I am, Reddit, staring at my screen, wondering how much longer I can keep pretending. Wondering what's worse, the betrayal itself, or the fact that he built this entire fake narrative about a sister to cover it up. Who even does that? I don't know what my next move is. But I know I can't keep living like this. And something tells me the truth is about to come out, whether I'm ready or not. Part 2. OP continues speaking to Reddit in the same style. Okay, Reddit. So after posting part 1, I tried to sleep. Didn't work. My brain feels like a browser with 200 tabs open, all flashing red notifications. Some of you told me to get a lawyer. Some said to confront him. Some said to reach out to Lily. And honestly, I wanted to do all of those things at once. But I also didn't want to blow my cover too soon. So I went full detective mode. Day after I posted, I made up an excuse to leave work early. I said I wasn't feeling well, half true, because my stomach was in knots. Instead of going home, I drove to a coffee shop near the address where some of his Uber receipts had taken him. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel the whole way, like I was about to pull off some high-stakes heist. I parked across from this little apartment complex, the kind with chipped paint and a flickering porch light. And I just sat there, watching, waiting, feeling like the world's saddest stalker. I was about to give up when I saw him. My husband, who told me he had a late meeting at work, walking up the stairs to that building like he'd done it 100 times before. He had a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. He looked comfortable, like this wasn't a sneaky one-time thing, but a second life he just casually slipped into. My heart dropped all over again. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. He went inside. I sat there for an hour, maybe 2. At one point, I saw a woman's silhouette at the window. Her. Lily. Or whatever her real name is. They laughed about something. He leaned in and kissed her. And that was it. No more excuses. No more. Maybe it's a kink thing. My husband was cheating. And I had just witnessed it with my own eyes. I drove home in this weird haze. You ever feel like you're watching your own life from outside your body? That was me. I got home before him, took a shower, made tea, even put on a Netflix show I didn't pay attention to. When he finally walked in around midnight, he smelled like cologne that wasn't his. I swear to God, my vision went red for a second. But I smiled. I said, "Hey, how was work?" And he lied right to my face, saying it was a long meeting but productive. Then he kissed my forehead. The same forehead he kissed before going to her. That night, I cried in the bathroom with the shower running so he wouldn't hear. The next morning, I decided to test him. Nothing dramatic, just a small poke. Over breakfast, I asked, "When are we going to see Lily? I feel like I barely know her." His whole body stiffened for a split second before he covered it up with a laugh. "You know she's shy," he said, taking a sip of coffee. "She's been going through a lot. But soon." He smiled at me like he was reassuring a child. I wanted to smash that coffee mug over his head. Instead, I played along. I nodded, said, "Yeah, I'd love that." Meanwhile, my mind screamed, "You lying piece of shit." But here's the thing. Once you start noticing lies, you see them everywhere. Every late meeting. Every just grabbing a beer with coworkers. Every time he put his phone face down on the table. It was like watching cracks spread across glass, knowing it's about to shatter. I started documenting everything. Screenshots. Photos of receipts. Dates, times, excuses. I even downloaded an app that records conversations on speaker, just in case. Shout out to the Paranoid Wives Club, I guess. My plan was to build a case so airtight, he couldn't possibly deny it. But here's where it gets messy. Because apparently, I'm not the only one he's been lying to. One night, while he was in the shower, I did something reckless. I texted her, "Lily," from his phone. Just a simple, "We need to talk." I waited, my heart pounding so hard, I thought it would burst out of my chest. Within seconds, she replied, "Is everything okay, baby?" I nearly gagged. I typed back, "Not really. Can we meet tomorrow?" She agreed instantly, sent an address of a cafe downtown. I deleted the messages and put his phone back like nothing happened. My hands were still shaking hours later. The next day, I went. I sat at that cafe for 20 minutes before she arrived. And when I say my whole body froze, I mean it. Because she didn't look like the femme fatale mistress I had built up in my head. She looked normal. Jeans, messy bun, tired eyes. She was maybe even a little nervous. She scanned the cafe, clearly looking for him, and when she saw me instead, her face dropped. I introduced myself. Her jaw literally fell open. She stammered, You're his wife." I nodded. We sat down. And then, oh boy, the truth started pouring out like a dam breaking. According to her, she had no idea he was still with me. He told her we were separated, that I was toxic and couldn't let him go, that we were basically done, but still living together for financial reasons. My blood boiled so hot, I thought I'd melt through the chair. She said they'd been seeing each other seriously for almost 3 years, that he told her he wanted to marry her, that she thought she was the only one. And here's the kicker, she thought I was the crazy ex who kept popping up. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the table. But instead, I just sat there in shock as she showed me texts, her version of the same texts I'd seen. Promises. I love yous. Future plans. He even told her he wanted kids with her. Kids. We've been trying on and off for a year with no success, and he's out here promising babies to his mistress. We sat there for 2 hours, trading stories, piecing together the puzzle. And the picture that formed? My husband wasn't just cheating. He was living a double life. With me, the stable marriage. With her, the passionate romance. He played both sides perfectly, weaving lies so intricate I'm honestly impressed he kept them straight. Until now. By the end of that meeting, I wasn't even angry at her. She looked devastated. Betrayed, just like me. We exchanged numbers, promised to keep each other updated. I left that cafe in a daze, my mind buzzing with one thought. I had to confront him. No more waiting. No more smiling through gritted teeth. It was time. That night, when he got home, I tried. I swear I did. I said, "We need to talk." But he looked so casual, so normal, kicking off his shoes, asking what was for dinner. And the words got stuck in my throat. I couldn't do it. Not yet. Instead, I smiled. Again. And I hated myself for it. But here's the thing, Reddit. I can't keep this charade much longer. He's juggling lies, and sooner or later, he's going to slip. And when he does, I'll be ready. Because now, I'm not alone. I've got her on my side. And together, we're going to expose him for the liar he really is. The question is, how? Do we confront him together? Do we blow up his entire life publicly? Do I lawyer up and quietly dismantle him piece by piece? I don't know yet. But one thing's for sure, the endgame is coming. And I don't think he has the slightest clue what's about to hit him. End of Part 2. Part 3. OP continues speaking to Reddit in the same tone as before. Alright, Reddit. Buckle up, because this is the part you've all been waiting for. The confrontation. The implosion. The part where the house of cards finally comes crashing down. After my last update, I spent a couple days in this weird limbo, pretending everything was normal while texting Lily behind his back. We became unlikely allies, trauma-bonded over the dumpster fire that is my marriage. Honestly, she was the one who gave me the courage to finally pull the trigger. She said, "He's been controlling the story this whole time. It's time we take it back." And she was right. So we made a plan. We decided to confront him together. In person. No more half-truths, no more pretending. Just us and him in the same room, with the receipts laid out. It was terrifying and exhilarating all at once, like I was about to jump out of a plane with no parachute. The showdown happened last Saturday. I told him I wanted to cook dinner at home, just the two of us. He seemed almost suspiciously happy, like maybe he thought I was finally settling down, again after weeks of tension. He brought home a bottle of wine, kissed my cheek, and set the table like nothing was wrong. The audacity of this man, I swear. Right around 7 p.m., the doorbell rang. He looked at me, confused. I said, "I invited someone to join us." His smile faltered. And when I opened the door and Lily walked in, you could practically see the blood drain from his face. He stammered, "What the hell is this?" I said, Sit down. We need to talk. My voice was shaking, but my spine felt made of steel. He tried to play dumb at first. Why is she here? What's going on? But then Lily pulled out her phone and started scrolling through their messages, projecting them onto the TV with a cable she'd brought. Genius move. Suddenly, the living room turned into a crime scene, and he was the guilty suspect caught red-handed. There they were. I miss you, baby. Can't wait until it's just us. We'll have the family we always wanted. All of it. I watched him crumble in real time. His face went from shock to denial to rage in seconds. This is an invasion of privacy, he yelled, as if that was the problem. Then he turned on me. Why would you ambush me like this? And I finally snapped. Months of bottled-up pain came pouring out. I told him I knew everything. That I had screenshots, Uber receipts, bank statements. That I'd watched him walk into her apartment with my own eyes. I told him I wasn't stupid, I wasn't blind, and I wasn't going to be his puppet anymore. He went silent. Just sat there, breathing heavy, his fists clenched. And then, get this, he actually had the nerve to blame me. Said I'd been distant. Said I didn't make him feel wanted. Said Lily. Understood him in ways I never could. I laughed. I laughed so hard it scared him. Because the sheer absurdity of it all, him trying to spin me as the villain after he'd been living a double life, was almost comical. Lily wasn't having it either. She stood up and said, Don't you dare blame her. You lied to me, too. You told me she was out of the picture. You told me she was crazy. She started crying, but it wasn't the soft movie kind of cry. It was furious, guttural. She called him a coward, a liar, a manipulator. And for once, he didn't have a script ready. The mask was off. Eventually, he stormed out, grabbed his keys, slammed the door, and left us sitting in the wreckage. Lily and I just stared at each other. Two women on opposite sides of the same lie, now united in betrayal. We hugged, awkward, shaky, but real. And then we both just breathed. Like we'd finally come up for air after being underwater for years. The aftermath has been a blur. He tried texting me the next day, alternating between apologizing and begging and threatening. 1 minute it was, Please, let's work this out. The next, You'll regret this if you leave me. Classic manipulation 101. I didn't respond. Instead, I called a divorce lawyer first thing Monday morning. Best decision I've ever made. My family? Mixed reactions. My mom is furious at him. My dad offered to help me move out. A few mutual friends have gone radio silent, probably because they don't know which side to take. But honestly, if you're on the fence about whether cheating with your sister is bad, I don't need you in my corner. As for Lily, we still text sometimes. We're not best friends or anything, but there's this strange solidarity between us now. She dumped him immediately, blocked him on everything. She said she felt just as duped as I did. And I believe her. We were both pawns in his little fantasy world, and now we're free. It's been a couple weeks since the confrontation, and I feel lighter. Not happy yet, not healed, but lighter. Like I'm finally walking out of a dark tunnel. I've been journaling, going to therapy, leaning on friends who do show up for me. I even went out for drinks with my coworkers the other night and laughed, really laughed, for the first time in months. I won't sugarcoat it, it still hurts. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and reach for him, only to remember he's not there, and then I remember why. And it hits me all over again. But then I remind myself, I deserve better. I deserve honesty. I deserve love that doesn't come with secrets and lies and fake sisters. So yeah, that's the end of the story, Reddit. My marriage is over, my husband is out of my life, and my future is uncertain, but mine. And that's more than I could have said a month ago. If anyone reading this is stuck in a similar situation, if you feel like something's off, if the lies don't add up, please trust your gut. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. The truth always finds a way out, no matter how deep they try to bury it. And when it does, you'll find your strength too.